After cutting and matching the two side eaves, it was time to celebrate with a small glass of cider. 2 weeks of work that honestly could not be celebrated in any other way. There was still a lot left, but it was a very important checkpoint. Then came the waterproofing, the insulation, and the onduline, in addition to the installation of the 2 windows. But that's a topic for another time. Now, between meals, what we are going to discuss. One of the most frequently asked questions on Instagram and YouTube comments is about price and cost. How much have we spent? How much have we left in this roof? So there's no other choice but to give an answer. We bought this estate in Paradise, and inside, completely abandoned, there is a stone house. After removing all the weeds that covered it, we continued cleaning the access path. And meanwhile, we have discovered bathing areas with spectacular waterfalls. Access is difficult and transporting materials is effortful, but we persevere. Our goal of restoring it with our own hands remains intact. Welcome to building in paradise. It's a question where the answer can vary quite a bit for different reasons. If you have the necessary tools, if you reuse material or not from the labor, etc. etc. We will present our case in case it can respond or help people who intend to change a roof in this way. In the case of finding decimals, we will round off the costs so that the amounts are easier to visualize. So let's not get wrapped up anymore. The first thing is the wood, in this case chestnut, we need. 54 pontoons, they are the ones that are going to hold everything up, and it's one of the most complicated parts to place. They all have to be completely level so that everything fits perfectly. That would cost us 918 euros. Then, all the ripia. The boards that we place horizontally, closing all the gaps, it's the part that is seen from inside the house. It's the outermost wood of each trunk, and that's why on some boards you can still see the tree bark. This wood is sold by square meters, in boards between 2 and 2.5 meters in length, although you can also find some smaller boards. Its price is 8 euros per square meter, and we bought 80 meters, so we spent 640 euros on the ripia. All this wood had to be sanded, so we bought a bunch of sandpaper packs and spent 37.80 on sandpapers with different grains. In this case, to devastate more or less as appropriate. I forgot to mention that we already had an orbital sander, so there was no expense there. We also had a jigsaw, grinder, miter saw, drills, hammers, nail gun with compressor, and chainsaw. We didn't spend money on these tools, but it's obvious they cost money if you don't have them. Generally, that's what we used. As for the wood being something so bulky, we also paid a €30 transport fee. They left it 500 meters from the cabin, but €30 more. After placing the sheathing, we put a waterproof insulator. It is sold in rolls of 75 square meters and costs €73.11. One roll ended up being enough. Just as we were placing it, it started to rain heavily. The truth is, we couldn't believe it. Just as we finished placing it, the rain stopped, true to Murphy's Law. After the waterproofing, the thermal insulation is placed. It comes in sheets of 1 meter 20 by 60 centimeters and is placed between wooden battens. Since on top you have to nail the corrugated sheets, which will be what ends up giving it the final layer of waterproofing. We bought 5 packs of slats at €18 per pack, which makes €90. For the thermal insulation, we ordered 8 packs at 46.59 each, totaling 372.72. We are still wondering how they got into the van with 8 packs at 46.59 each, totaling 372.72. It was a quite difficult mission. Now yes, it was time to place the corrugated sheets that would go under the final tiles. These are asphalt plates that prevent water from entering, even if the tiles move. It completely isolates from water. These are sheets that come in a format of 2 square meters, so we needed 40 sheets. At €14 each, their cost is €560. Let's not forget about the ridge closure. We need some special sheets to fit at the peak. We needed 10 of those. At €10.79 each, that's €107.9. Throughout this whole process, between insulating shingles and corrugated sheets, we also had to install the roof windows. We decided on 2 pivot windows from the FACRO brand, 78 by 98 centimeters. They cost €232 each, so both amount to €464. The corrugated cover strips, which are adapted to their entire perimeter, are also necessary, and these cost €88 each. So we have to add another €176 to the equation. We add 2 cans of window insulation at €8, 50 each, €17 in total. As other additional expenses, we can count the crowbar's lever nail. €18, which was what we used to remove all the wood from the old roof. Also about €210 for screws, staples for the pneumatic gun, gloves, etc. A new chain for the chainsaw, as we had to use it several times and it had broken. €19, also about €70 for gas for all the Jeep trips. For now, that's all we can count. We'll see how many tiles we can reuse and also how we'll end up deciding. That large window in the central area, if it's with several pivot windows, if it's with a fixed one, we'll decide in the next few days. It's been very hard work, but as always, we've decided to do it ourselves. It's not a 100% professional job, but we're very happy with the result. Obviously, we're not counting on the labor since we've done it ourselves, with the invaluable help of Goyo and Diego. We must acknowledge that without their help, we couldn't have achieved this result so quickly. So from here, we continue to thank them and send them a very strong hug. I hope you liked the video, that it helped you, and don't hesitate to leave your question in the comments. See you in the next one.